Welcome to Root Talk with Lillian M. Welcome to Root Talk with Lillian M. I'm back again. I'm just back again. Today I'm going to be talking about Black people, Africans, Black Americans, whoever, Black person. Yeah. Well, I know some might not like it, but I can't. Yeah. I'm just gonna call out all Black people at this point. I'm here to say it's 2026. It's 2026. We cannot be blaming colonization and slavery for our own failures and problems. We cannot be blaming colonization and slavery entirely for our own present problems and failures. You all can hate me all you want, but I'm telling the truth. Growing up, I was made to believe that our problems as Africans we are suffering because of colonization. That's what I was made to believe, and I grew up believing that white people are rich because they colonized us and stole all our minerals and stole all our things. So now they become rich, and I'm sure that's the feeling most Africans have about white people. Well, is it true? Well, there's some truth on that. Definitely, they did colonize and did what they did. That's what's true. But the thing is, it's 2026. We cannot blame the past for our present problems. I mean, let's face reality right now. This thing of saying I'm poor because we were colonized, it's just outdated. Black Americans, this thing of saying we are poor and broke because we went through slavery, it's just outdated. And I don't want to speak much about Black Americans because I do not know much of their experience. I know that that country they live in can be very bad for them, discriminating them because they're Black and all that. So I want to give Black Americans a little bit of grace, even though I'm going to include them, because I have seen a lot of Black Americans complaining that slavery is just keeping them poor. Slavery that happened, I don't even know, to be honest. I don't know about this slavery thing. I was not even born. Even colonization that happened in Africa, I was not even born. I'm called a born free. Actually, I was not even born. I don't know when this colonization happened, but we learn it from school. If you are African, we all learn about this colonization thing and all those things. Honestly, I would love to be taught about how to become successful. How can we become rich? How can we start ideas? How can we start making our own phones? That's what I would like the African kids to be taught. Not to be taught, I'm not saying history should not be taught, but to be focusing on, these people, they did this to us, but it creates another mentality, man. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. I know some of you right now might say, you trying to get likes from white people. Give me a break. My channel, as I'm speaking to you, is currently not monetized. I'm not monetized at all. So to say I'm looking for likes from white people, it's just outdated. It's just outdated. One thing that I've noticed about Black people, if you criticize them for something that they're doing and they start saying, you are fishing for likes from white, I don't give about these people you say I want likes from. No, I do not. I mean, I can be pro-Black sometimes. Yes, I believe in Black people. I believe in Black people and I love Black people. That's just why I'm making these videos, so that you can wake up. Because the truth is, if we keep blaming colonization and slavery, we will never succeed. We'll never do anything. We'll look for excuses. And I strongly believe that people who do not want to take responsibility of their life, they always have someone to blame. People who are not willing to do something with themselves, with their lives, even if they would start saying the government. Yes, the government might be doing a lot of bad things that is contributing. It's true that the government is keeping you poor. Yeah, but do something. Do something. I am happy. I love people who say, what? We were enslaved. We were colonized. But we made it. So, dear Black people, Africans, Black Americans, and all Black people in general, instead of screaming colonization and slavery, start believing in yourself and create something better for yourselves. A wise man once said, success is the best revenge. Those who wanted you to be slaves, those who wanted to colonize you, when they see you succeeding, it's the best revenge. But when they see you complaining, these people enslaved us, these people colonized us, they will mock you secretly. They'll call you losers. Success is the best revenge. And the reason why I refuse to believe that colonization is keeping Africans poor or slavery is keeping Black Americans poor, well, I don't want to speak much about Black Americans because I don't know about the opportunity there. I don't know whether, the inequality there. I can't really speak, so I don't want to speak. I have to investigate first. Before I speak about anything, I investigate first, look for information and things like that. But even though I would like to touch here and there about Black Americans as well, because I've seen that they complain a lot, just like Africans. Just gonna say as it is. Like, for example, Africans, how can you tell me that colonization is keeping you poor? Some Africans, how can you tell me that African colonization is keeping you poor. Some of you, colonization happened when you were not even born. I think the rest of us, most of us on social media, colonization, we were not even born. Maybe our parents, maybe in the 80s or 70s or 60s. There. But how can we say that something that happened 100 years ago, 60 years ago is keeping us poor? How? You know, the reason why I refuse to believe this narrative is that if you want to look at African politicians, the reason why I refuse to believe that colonization is keeping Africans poor is one of the reasons that if you discover that most politicians, once they get into power, they start living a luxurious lifestyle. Them and their kids, they travel in private jets. They travel in private jets, expensive cars. Then you hear some of them saying, when it comes to you and ordinary citizens, you're being told, colonization, these people are keeping us poor. Yet their kids and them, that's when I question everything. If their kids were living like ordinary people, suffering like ordinary people, I would maybe believe it. But the fact that they're living a luxurious lifestyle, and then when it comes to, no, give me a break. How come these politicians, they travel in expensive private jets when their people do not have drinking water? If you go to most villages in Africa, do not have drinking water. That's when you have people like Mr. Beast. They come here and say, I dig balls. I hate it when these people like Mr. Beast come here and say, I dig balls for the poor Africans. I dig balls I dig balls for Africans. I dig balls for Africans. It's embarrassing that a white guy from you. For how long are we going to be relying on a white man? For how long? It's so sad that African politicians, some of them, they would rather travel in private jets, buying expensive cars. If their people do not have safe drinking water, if their people, they are traveling in potholes. And then you blame colonization? Give me a break. Give me a break. For example, Africans, you have land. Most of you have big lands that you can even start projects. You can go and work where you can work. I don't care whether you're cleaning toilets or you are doing someone's garden. You can just go there and start raising your capital. I don't care if you're cleaning the streets or you're cleaning whatever. Raise your capital small by small. After 2 years, probably raise the amount of money that you can start doing projects on your land. But no, you just want to say, colonization is keeping us poor. Give me a break. Lack of critical thinking is keeping you broke and poor. I've discovered one thing that is actually keeping us Africans poor is lack of critical thinking. We either pray for things to happen or we blame the past, the colonization, the slavery. Instead of looking into our eyes, I don't know if it's possible to look into our eyes, or instead of looking into each other's eyes and say, you know what? How can we change this? It's 2026. We cannot be blaming colonization. It's 2026. We cannot be blaming slavery. Let us think, how can we start progress? How can we start progressing our lives? How can we change? How can we start doing progress? How can we start doing things that can see us doing better things for our lives, for our next generation? Instead, no, we want to blame things of the past. Was the past brutal and bad and should not be repeated? Hell yes. But should we dwell on that? It's not going to help us with anything. It's just going to, this thing of still crying colonization on slavery, it's going to keep us bitter. It's going to keep us bitter, hurtful, and lazy thinkers. I love people who say that, yes, they did this to me. They tried to destroy me. But you know what? I fought and I won and I'm standing strong. They didn't win. They didn't succeed. I did. Life tried to knock me down, but I refused to stay down. I'm up. Those are my kind of people. They wanted to see me suffering. They wanted to see me poor. They wanted to see me struggle. Yes, but you know what? I'm not gonna be pitying myself. I'm not gonna be sitting around and pitying myself. No, these people, they want to see me suffering. They want to see me poor. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna say, okay, these people, they want to see me suffering. These people want to see me poor. They want to see me begging and struggling. But you know what? I'm just gonna believe in myself. I'm just gonna prove everybody wrong. That is the mindset that I love. That is the mindset that I wish Africans could have. Yes, these people tried whatever they tried. They tried colonization. These people, they tried slavery. They tried to destroy us. They tried to make us look like we are not human beings. They tried to make us look like we are animals. They give us wicked names. Yes, these people, they give us so insulting names, so terrible names. They called us terrible names. Some of them are still using those terrible names today. But you know what? We're not going to let that hold us back. We're not going to let that even ring in our head. We're going to rise up and say, you did what you did. You tried what you tried. But guess what? Look at me. I am winning. I am an African. I am a black person. That is what mentality Africans and black people we should have. Then this thing of saying, then this thing of pitting ourselves, they colonize us. They colonize us. They colonized us. They colonized us. They enslaved us. They enslaved us. God, these people did bad thing to us. No, man. Let me tell you this. Life is not nice to the weak or those who show weakness. Life is not nice to the weak, and life is not even nice to those who show weakness. The moment you show weakness, life will show you hell on earth. Life is not for the faint-hearted. Yes, whatever they have tried to do to destroy you, it didn't. You know what? A wise person once said, "What doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger." Black Americans, slavery didn't kill you; it made you stronger. So I want you to show the strongness that all those bad things made you. All those things made you. I'm not saying this to criticize, but I like to tell the truth. I like to tell the truth. It's just I just believe in the truth. It's 2026. It's 2026. I refuse to believe this narrative that we are poor. Africans were poor because of colonization. It's 2026. I refuse to believe that Black Americans are poor because of slavery. Things that ended way ago. I refuse to believe that, especially in Africa. Everything is in the hands of Black people. It's in the hands of Africans. Yet we're still blaming other people for our own failures. No, man, it just doesn't work like that. Because if you want to look at reality, as I said, if you want to look at your African politicians, most of them would rather travel in latest Range Rovers. Yet the streets are full of potholes. Where are they getting so much money to buy these expensive cars in a country full of potholes? Make it make sense. How is that colonization problem? That's why, I can't help it. That's why I don't get it. How can you blame colonization when you are a leader of a country, African country, traveling in expensive cars? And then, say colonization. I refuse to believe that. No. Is colonization really is causing some few problems here and there? Definitely there are some bad things that colonization did, especially brainwashing Africans. Up until today, most Africans are brainwashed. Mentally brainwashed. They barely think for themselves. They rely on someone to think for them so that they can go and work. Instead of Africans thinking for themselves, no, they would rather go and pray, unite and pray to get a job from a white man. Believe it or not, but that's true. Africans would rather gather and say, God, give me a job. I need a job. God, I need a job. God, I need to go to... They pray. They gather to pray for jobs, to go to work for a white man, rather than to gather and start sharing ideas, how to become successful, how to think, how to make it. How can we enhance our lives, change our lives for better? But no, it doesn't work like that. We just out here blaming colonization. I believe that colonization did a lot of things, and I believe some of them are still manifesting. If you look at African countries, most Africans, they believe in European Western lifestyle. That's what they believe in. They believe in English. They think if you speak English better, you have made it in life. That's how colonized Africans are. They think if you speak English better, you have made it. You are great. You're awesome. They think anything white is better. They think anything white better. That's what colonization did to most Africans. They think anything white is better. They think a car made by a white person is better. They think a business being operated by a white person is better. They think everything made by a white person is better. You will see that, as I said previously, that in my previous video, that most Africans would rather support a white man's business rather than they would support a Black person, because they think that it's white is better. There are some results. That's some of the aftermath or the colonization effects. But to blame our problems and failures entirely on colonization and slavery, that's just outdated. That's just being hypocritical. That just doesn't make sense to me. It can't. Because our economy is in our hands, especially in Africa. What's stopping us from developing? If we can be able to travel in private jets, our kids, our politician kids traveling in private jets, what is stopping us from even renovating our marketplaces? No, man. Why is it money? Only politicians have money if you want to look at it. Only politicians in Africa, if you want to look at it, most of them are living a luxury lifestyle. Once someone become a politician or become close to the president, they start living a luxury lifestyle they couldn't afford before. I think Africans, starting from the leadership, we need to rethink. Before we buy private jets, before we travel in private jets, let us think of our potholes. Let us think of modernizing our streets. The streets in the cities of African cities just don't make sense. If it is village, forget it. Village forgets it. So, you know, one thing about me is that I like to think outside of the box. I see big pictures. I can't help it. My brain was wired like that, and I can't help it. When other people are seeing a picture, like when other people are seeing a certain picture, me, I'm seeing another picture. When people are just looking around, me, I'm looking everywhere. I always question things. The motive behind anything, I'm always questioning. I'm always investigating things and looking for. And when I look at African poverty and Black people poverty in general, I don't think it's been caused by colonization. I think it's just been caused by lack of thinking, lack of critical thinking. Lack of critical thinking and religious. Religious is definitely one of them. I think I spoke about that on my other video. Religious is keeping Africans poor and completely brainwashed. Christianity is religious is being misused to brainwash Africans not to think outside of the box. They're being told that, oh, pray for anything, it will happen. Whilst in China, they are not praying for any. Whilst in China, they are not praying. They are making things happen. Whilst in China, they are making things happen. In Africa, they are praying for things to happen. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. It's 2026. Africans, Black people in general, we can't be blaming the past. We have to look in the mirror and say, you know what? What happened, whatever happened, do not define us. What we are making, what we are building, what we are planning is what defines us. The progress, the modernization of our African cities, the modernization of our everything is what defines us. The progress, the success is what defines us. Not the colonization. Let us not be people who are defined by such things like colonization and all that. No, myself did it. At first, when I was younger, I used to think that colonization happened in Africa only. But I realized that colonization didn't happen in Africa only. I was actually shocked to realize almost over the world, people were colonized in Asia and everywhere. People were colonized. But if you want to look at us, we're just crying. I know, man, it's outdated. As I said, success is the best revenge. Yes, I'm not denying. In America, they enslaved you. I'm not denying that. In Africa, I'm not denying the fact that these people colonized you. But what I'm saying is that success is the best revenge. They tried what they have tried, but it didn't work. You are succeeding. You are making it. You are not letting anything holding you back. And I want you to apply. You can apply this in your life as well. Like, in this life, there are many people who want to see us fail. There are people who say you can never make it. There's some people who say, they look at you and say, this one, well, you think she can never do anything. He can never do anything like this one. This one, you can never. They look down on you. Prove them wrong. Yes, those people, they look down on you. Those people, they think you're nothing. Those people, they treat you badly. So what? Such is life. Pick yourself up. Put yourself together. Dust yourself off. Stand up and say, God, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Yes, these people, they look down on me. Yes, these people criticize me. Yes, these people mock me. But I'm not going to let that define me. I'm not going to let that define me. I am going to stand on my own. I am going to succeed. I'm going to believe in myself. I'm going to start doing things that will define me, not what their narrative. Because the thing is, listen, Africans, before you say, listen, the thing is, Black people, before you say, you talk too much, let me tell you this. If you do not change your lives, they are going to keep the same narrative. They will have their own narratives about you. If you're not going to change your lives for better, if you're not going to create good things for yourself, doing amazing things for yourself, these people are going to they're going to continue with a certain narrative about you. Like, these people were enslaved. These people, some of them, they would start to say, these people were better off as slaves. Some would start saying, these people were better off as colonized. Yes, that's the truth. People will start saying, you were better off as colonized. If you're not doing anything productive and progress, they'll start saying that. And I'm pretty much sure behind the closed doors, they're saying that these people, Black people, were better off as slaves, better off as colonized. Because we're not doing anything to prove otherwise. With this social media where we get to see countries like China, and then you look at Chinese malls, you look at Chinese airports, and then you look at Chinese roads, and then you look at your African roads, you'll be like, God, wow, this is unbelievable. So I don't know. Some of you don't want to hear this, and that's okay. But I'm just here to tell you that it's 2026. Black people, we cannot be blaming colonization and slavery. We cannot. As an African myself, I don't want to compare slavery to colonization. As Africans, we didn't have slavery. We had colonization that was what was happening here. If there was anyone was doing slavery, I don't know, maybe it was, I don't know, but it cannot be compared with, it cannot be compared with the slavery that black people you went through. I know black people, black Americans, you went through a lot during slavery and all that, but I'm saying that do not let that define you. Do not let slavery define you. Do not let their narratives define you. Define yourself. Do something that will make people say, wow, I cannot believe these people were enslaved. They were stolen from their countries and were made slaves. But look at them now. This is what I want to see. This is what I want to hear about black Americans. I want the world to say, wow, 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 wow. Look at these people. They're called black Americans. They were stolen, kidnapped years ago from their countries. But they survived. They conquered. They fought. Look at them. Wow. They're succeeding. They've started the most expensive phone in the world was manufactured by black Americans. The most expensive car on earth was manufactured by black men in America. The most advanced technology was created by black Americans. This is amazing. That's what we want. This is amazing. This is what we want here. We want the world to say, wow, look at those people, Africans, colonized. They were colonized. They were called all sorts of names, animals. But look at them, how they are modernizing Africa. Look how they are modernizing their countries, their roads, their airports. Look at that. They're doing it by themselves without those people who wanted them to be colonized or slaves. Look at that. This is worth a round of applause. That is what I want for you when I make this type of videos. That is my wish. I'm not saying this. Some of you might think that I'm saying this to criticize you. No, to make you think outside of the box. I believe we can. If they can, I believe we can too. All we need to be is to be critical thinkers. We need to think outside of the box. We need to stop this thing of saying, God, I need you to give me a business. God, I need you to give me a car. Go to work and God will give you strength to work so that you can get a car that you want. The business. Go to work and God will give you strength to work so that you can build the business you want. Not to say God, I receive a business. It's just outdated, man. It's just not working. It didn't work for your ancestors. What makes you think it's going to start working? It didn't work on your ancestors. What makes you think it's going to start working on you? This thing of praying for things didn't work for your ancestors. What makes you think it's going to work on you? What makes you think that? Lazy thinkers and lazy people, they just want to rely on prayers because they don't want to take responsibility of their own lives. Go and look for a job. God will give you strength to work and start the business you always wanted, instead of sitting in church and say, God, I receive a business. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. And these pastors, they're doing a very good job brainwashing Africans to believe that if they want to live a better life, they gotta pray. You don't get a better life by praying. You get a better life by thinking, planning how to get it, not to pray. Just pray to give you, only what you can pray for is to give you, for God to give you strength and guide you. That's all. Anyway, today I decided to talk about this. I wanted to talk about this because I've seen, the reason why I decided to talk about this is because I've seen a lot of black people, Africans, black Americans, and black people in general talking about colonization is keeping us poor, slavery is keeping us poor. No. It might be, I'm not denying, but not entirely. It's that narrative is outdated. It's outdated. Let us go out there and start using our brain. Let us learn how Chinese are doing this technology thing. Let us learn how these Chinese are making these Samsung phones, or they're making these expensive phones that we use. How Chinese are doing it. Let's learn. Instead of start saying it's outdated. So I just want to tell all black people around the world that blaming the past is not going to change anything. It's not going to change anything. It happened, but it's not going to change anything. I acknowledge that it was horrible, and I acknowledge that it should have not happened. I acknowledge that it was bad, but it's 2026. We can't keep dwelling in that or blaming that for our own failures. No, it's just not happening. It's not happening. It's not happening. Let's go out there and work. Especially Africans, we have land, big lands. Free. If you go to Africa, a lot of lands are free. A lot of lands in Africa very much free. Nothing is being done there. Instead of gathering together and start projects, starting to use your land to generate income for you, you're praying for a visa to go to Europe, or you are sitting around and blaming colonization. It's just outdated, man. But make it make sense. If you think that I might be wrong, make it make sense. There is an African people out there who have bigger lands. They can do certain projects. They can do anything that is projects or farming that can actually generate income for them. But they would rather sit around and blame colonization, or they would rather go to church and gather there and start praying for a visa to Europe. Now, Mm-mm. How, no. Mm-mm. 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 No. Anyway, I decided to tell you that yes, colonization was bad, slavery was bad, but to just keep on saying that is keeping us poor, I think that's just being hypocritical. That is being not totally true. That's just being a little bit outdated, if you ask me. Let us blame, yeah, let us take responsibility of our own lives. I'll see you next time on Real Talk with Lillian M.